what's up, everybody? Dead Girl here. Happy Wednesday! Sitting with me this evening, our special guest, is one Mr. Petey Mongelli of Spooky Empire.
What's up?
Thank you so much for hanging out with us on this fine Wednesday evening, sir.
What's going on?
Now, in case folks don't know who you are or aren't familiar with you, would you mind telling us a little bit about yourself?
My name's Petey Mongelli. I was born in the Bronx, New York. I was raised in upstate New York. I moved to Florida in like 1989, and everything else. I started being a stagehand roadie kind of deal. Toured with some bands and stuff like that, and then did some Broadway shows. And then next minute I know, I started doing these conventions. Worked the KISS conventions for many years, and then I started Screamfest, and then turned into Spooky Empire.
Now I gotta ask you, where in upstate New York did you grow up?
Like Middletown, Poughkeepsie area.
Oh, nice. You're way up there then.
Yeah.
I grew up in the Binghamton area, so as you know,
Yeah.
it's a little upstate.
Yeah. I mean, we were like an hour and a half from New York City.
Oh, that's not
So
bad.
it wasn't that bad.
We were like, what, 3 hours, I think? We were a ways, that's for sure. Now, you started working conventions. You mentioned the KISS convention.
Yeah.
How did you get started working conventions?
I was like a kid that was a huge KISS fan, and I met this guy at like a flea market, Maybrook Flea Market, and he said, "Do you want to work for KISS?" And I was like, "Yeah." And next thing I know, we were putting on the KISS conventions in New York and New Jersey.
And then what brought you down to Florida?
What brought me really down to Florida is I watched this movie called Spring Break, which the director from Friday the 13th, Sean Cunningham, he directed that movie. And it's a movie called Spring Break. It was awesome, and it did everything in Fort Lauderdale, and I was like, that's where I want to move. And I took a semester college in New Paltz.
Oh, okay.
And then after that, I went to Fort Lauderdale at the Art Institute. I started school there, and that's when.
Nice.
So.
And then you decided, like, I'm going to do a convention down in Florida.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it was kind of like I collected toys and stuff like that, and I was going to like the conventions down here.
Yeah.
And they were just kind of lame, like I really enjoyed like FX. FX was like the one I really liked.
Yeah.
Because they had most of the cool toys and stuff that I liked. But then and then I saw like MegaCon and a couple other like little conventions, and I was like, oh, these are all lame, man. They don't have like something that would be appealing to me.
Right.
So then then that's how that started.
Okay. And now here you are. God, it's what, 20 years?
18 years with Spooky Empire. Yeah.
Jesus. And you guys are doing 2 shows a year now. I know initially you guys were only doing the one show, which was the fall show.
And we might be doing 3 shows this year.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you guys are you thinking about maybe doing like another Christmas type show?
Yeah. We're talking about it. It's it's still up in the air, but we're kind of discussing doing the Christmas thing again.
I know a lot of people enjoyed the Christmas. I enjoy it because it's the perfect way for me to go and buy Christmas gifts for people.
Yeah.
It's easy shopping.
Yeah. And we're going to keep it small. Like, we're not going to blow it up like, our October show and stuff. We're just going to keep it small and cheap.
Nice. So
Couple
kind of
of
like
guests, great vendors, cheap to get in, cheap everything,
So kind of like what you did with the pop-up show this past December.
Pretty much that's probably what the format would be.
Oh, that's awesome. Now that's got to be, okay, so 2 shows a year you guys started doing. Why did you end up doing the second show, the spring show? I know some people have some guesses, but I'm not sure everybody really knows why you guys added the second show.
We added the second show because we couldn't get Bruce Campbell or Alice Cooper to do our show in October. So I was working on a TV show called Burn Notice, and Bruce Campbell was on the show, and I sat next to him at lunch one day, and I just said, hey, how do I get you to do my show? And he goes, well, when's your show? I go, October. He goes, you're not going to get me to do it in October. And which is funny because now he calls me to do the show in October. But back then, our show wasn't as big and everything like that. And he was like, well, change the date. And I said, I said, well, I was looking at our schedule and we had like Memorial Day weekend off, and then we went into a hiatus for like a week or something for the
Okay.
show. And I said, how about we do it that weekend? He goes, I'm in, let's do it. And then that's how that show started. Then I called Alice Cooper and he still couldn't do the show.
But he
So
did end up doing the show.
he winded up doing it eventually. I believe he did do this the
It was the spring show.
first. Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny. So everyone can thank Bruce Campbell for there being a spring show.
Yeah. That was it. Yeah.
And you guys decided to keep it going to do both shows. That's got to be a lot of work, man.
Yeah, I mean, dude, it's a lot of work. Just, I mean, the October show alone is like massive.
Yeah.
I mean, you're pretty much working on it pretty much all year, the October show. But the spring show, we try to keep it as small and
Yeah.
keep it simple. So.
Now, speaking of the spring shows, you guys just had your spring show.
Yeah.
We went, had a fantastic time. Awesome as always. Some really great guests. Do you have any personal highlights from the show?
Yeah, I mean, it was just great to see everybody again. Just seeing everybody. The VIP party, people were so cool and relaxed and everything like that. It was like really great. And then at the pool was, everybody was just sitting there hanging out together. The vendors were amazing. I mean, we had some like really top, notch guys in there. The show was just great. It was just great to see everybody.
Yeah. It was like a nice big reunion of sorts
because
most of us haven't seen each other in like a year.
There was a lot of new people there. There was a lot of new people there, and then there was a lot of people that I never met before that been going to the show for years that I got to like hang and chill with, which was awesome.
Well, you're always like, people see you, but I don't think they realize you're like the Flash. Like they see you running and you're usually going to put out a fire or handle something. So during those show hours, you don't have that time. But after the show, you get to kind of chill out a little. So, it's always, I know for us, it's always a pleasure to hang out and talk with you guys. And I'm sure like some of the, the newer people and even some of the people you hadn't talked to before, I'm sure that was a highlight for them to actually get to know you a little bit.
Yeah. It was fun. And, even like the VIP party, I think I met a lot of new people at the VIP party that I got to chill and hang out with.
Nice.
Which was kind of cool.
That's awesome.
And Corey Taylor was awesome.
I was going to say, I heard nothing but good things about Corey Taylor from everyone that I talked to that went over the weekend. And when we got there on Friday, like his line was down outside around the corner. Like it was massive.
Yeah. Yeah, and he was great at the VIP part too. Yeah. He like hung out and chilled and talked to like everybody there.
I saw him with a Spooky Empire shirt on.
And he was wearing a Spooky Empire shirt. He was very impressed with the Spooky Empire shirts, and he was a big fan of what we were doing. He also went shopping in the vendor room, bought a bunch of stuff.
Nice. And he actually stayed an extra day, didn't he? Not as a guest, but he actually just kind of showed up and shopped.
Yeah, he just came back and shopped and everything. He was definitely one of the best guests we probably ever had.
I was gonna say,
definitely a highlight,
Yeah, a lot of your guests
like enjoyed being there. It's always cool when they enjoyed being there, and they're just not like they're trying to take your money. He was there and having a good time.
Well, that's just it. I think he was a lot more personable than most people thought he would be.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to say bad, but like most, he's a rock star, and most people that are, rock stars, they have a certain way about them, a certain, air about them. So I think a lot of people were kind of like not real sure. And then he ended up being absolutely amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. He was down to earth and everything. It's funny, like you said about rock stars, like we've had some people at our show that are complete rock stars, and they're rock stars like when you meet them, even like me, like I'm trying to do business with them and they're full on rock star, like the lead singer of Rat. He was the lead singer of Rat. Like when I met him, and Dee Snider is Dee Snider. He is like full on rock star when you meet him, And I think Corey Taylor was just down to earth, and he was so happy to be there. He was like a fan, like we were. So
he was
kind of
just
cool.
like he was like one of us almost. He was just a regular dude hanging out, and I saw a lot of our vendor friends getting pictures with him. I know he bought stuff from a
Yeah.
lot of our vendor friends too. So, do you think that he might come back to the show at some point?
Oh, absolutely. He was like, the thing is, these guys are all going to go back on tour for a while,
Yeah.
and we're not going to see as many rock stars at our conventions because they're going to be hardcore touring.
Yeah.
But I guarantee you he'll be back at Spook Ever, you know.
Yeah.
And like he probably heard it all weekend long. You need to come to the October show. You need to come because they always hear that.
Well, yeah, because I mean that's of course the big show, and that's when they can actually experience the majesticness that is
Yeah.
Spooky for the Ride. That's like the, not to say the spring show's not the real show, but the October show is like, it's that big ta-da.
Well, I mean, the spring show is dedicated for the fans. It's just so we could all get together and hang out.
Yeah.
It's not the
It's not
October
the
show is
craziest.
it's a full on real. It's night and day. You know.
It's very different.
Yeah.
And there's tons to do in both shows.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
And you've done, so we've got the smaller show in December that you guys did. We have the May show. How are you able to pull off 2 conventions successfully during a pandemic when nobody's really, I mean, people are starting to get back to it now, but nobody's really done like a full-blown event?
I mean, I have to think that like we were very prepared for both shows. We were very like looking at what we had to do. We were making sure it was all safe. We didn't sell too many tickets. We were very strict on everything. I think me and Gina, like when we were putting the shows together, we were very aware of how like safe we have to be, and how everything was. I mean, that December show was so amazing. Like everybody wore masks. Everybody was safe. We had just enough people to have a successful show.
Yes. Oh yeah.
So it was great. And then, the one we just had was a great show too, and everybody was safe too. As I know, nobody caught the corona,
Yay!
And everybody was wearing their masks most of the time. At the pool, everybody took it off a little bit, but I think everybody was vaccinated. Like almost everybody I was talking to was vaccinated. So, and that was a big part of us doing everything, and especially because people were just getting vaccinated. So we were like the first show right there.
Yeah.
With everybody vaccinated. So it was kind of cool,
Which is awesome because now it's like I think now that everybody's being, able to get vaccinated, everybody's kind of getting a little more comfortable in going out and doing things. Whereas before it was available to like our age group, folks weren't really wanting to get out and do too much. So I think that that's also kind of helped in opening the gates, so to speak, for people.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, everybody was awesome at the show. Everybody, just kept their masks on and was respectful, which is always nice to see and hear.
That December show was so like incredibly successful. Like it was great. Everybody wore a mask. There was like maybe we had problems with maybe 1 or 2 people. That's about it out of everybody. But we sold just enough tickets to make it very it was a great show. And I think a lot of us needed it. A lot of us needed to see each other and talk to each other and be there,
Absolutely. I mean, we were all stuck at home for months. And while this is great, like the Zoom conversations are wonderful and shows are great, but it's nice to see the face. You know what I mean?
No, absolutely. Yeah. And like, I'm not a big fan of the virtual cons,
Yeah.
I think it is a con. I think they're ripping people off. Like, hey, you get to meet this person online, blah, 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 and get an autograph for $150, $175. I'm like, what?
No.
I mean, you want to meet the people in person. You want to, like, interact and stuff like that. And we did it as safe and, the best way we could.
Oh, absolutely. You want to have that conversation, that personal connection, whereas in the screen doesn't give you that. Like we chatted with David Naughton from American Werewolf in London.
Yeah.
And he was so awesome. Like we had him center poster.
Great,
he was just, cool, down to earth, just happy to talk and happy to be there. And I think that even like not just from the fan standpoint, but I think even like the media guests were very much missing people as well.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And everybody was enjoying it like a lot. Just being able to work. These guys, some of these guys, like they haven't been working, so
Yeah.
it was good to see them out there.
Well, I was going to ask you that too, is when booking guests for, like, for example, the spring show and even for the December show, I mean, I'm sure, was it any easier than, like, if they were working their regular gigs?
No, it was definitely difficult to book people. It was, and people, like, we had a couple of people saying, oh, the guest list wasn't that great. Well, this is who was available
Right.
to come out and meet you. It is a pandemic. Like, there were some people that didn't understand that we're still in a pandemic.
Right.
Yeah, it was very difficult to book the guest. Very difficult.
Yeah.
And I have to give it. There's another show called Days of the Dead. I have to give it up to them too. Us and them were the only ones pulling it off.
Oh yeah.
Everybody else canceled or did their virtual thing.
Yep.
And like, we were the only ones that give the fans what they, the best we could,
And I think folks
I hope
need to
everybody
remember.
remembers that,
That's what I was going to say. I think folks need to be reminded of that and to remember that you guys were able to pull off a con successfully with more than 5 guests. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For you guys were able to get some phenomenal people and some very, very nice and very amazing guests. And, well, not every guest is going to be everybody's cup of tea.
Absolutely. Even with the big show, we still get that,
Oh, yeah.
We had, like, the whole cast of Stranger Things, like, when it was the hottest thing out there, and people were like, is that all you got?
In the back of your mind, you're like, really, guys?
Yeah, exactly.
You kind of want to reach through the screen sometimes.
Yeah.
So thank you for putting on both shows. I know we had a good time. I know everyone that we spoke with that went to the show had a fantastic time. I've got a bunch of people in the chat right now who are giving nothing but love. Got Haunt Scenes in there, Spooky Rally Cars in there, Payne's Mystery Emporium, Slideshow. So a bunch of our, vendor friends and non-vendor friends are in there kind of hanging out. And Excellent. We all appreciate it. Now, I do got to ask you something, though, because there was something missing from this show.
Yeah.
And usually we collect them, and I know a lot of other people collect them, are your programs.
Yeah.
And you guys went digital with that. Now, was that more just to err on that caution where it's less things that people are touching? Is it easier to do a virtual program versus a printed one?
Yeah, I mean, the program, there's a lot of work that goes into the program and stuff like that. And I think the reason why we didn't really do it for this event was because we had so many other expenses that we had to do. Like, we had to have special signs and special this and special that, and we had to pay extra for this and extra for that, and it just ran into the budget, and we had to cut back on certain things, and that was one of the cutbacks. Unfortunately, I mean, it's probably one of, like, a lot of people's favorite part of the show, is that program, but it'll be back in October.
Okay.
We already have the artist. The artist is an amazing artist. When you see his work, you're going to be, overwhelmed. The thing about our program is we always have a different artist. There's never been a different artist ever. It's always been different artists at every program. We've never had the same artist ever.
Yes. That's good. I like to see the love spread, and all the covers for all the programs are so amazing, and they're so wonderful, and I've got them from way back in the Fort Lauderdale days, and they're like my little keepsakes that I squirrel away.
I see them on eBay all the time, like people selling them on eBay and stuff like that, and people collect them. Oh, I missed that one. I got to find it on eBay to get it and stuff like that. And
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they're cool, man. It's great to collect, and all our artwork is all original, man. We have, like, every badge we have is all original artwork. All our T-shirts, original artwork. There's,
what,
like,
T-shirts?
I know that
badass T-shirt.
Oh yeah, that's a great shirt.
Oh, and you guys have that up on sale on your online store now too.
We do. We first time ever we put because they sold out so quick on Friday.
Yes.
That a lot of people didn't get to get them, and so we're selling them online, so you could check that out.
Nice.
In our store on our website.
I've got a question coming in the chat room, and I actually thought of, JD and I were talking about this the other day. Is Spooky TV going to make a comeback at any point? Because I know you guys used to, for those that are new to Spooky that don't know, Spooky TV was like a bunch of clips and highlights and stuff that you guys would show on the hotel channel. So
we would love for that. That's another thing that takes a lot of time and effort and stuff like that, putting that thing together. And also it takes, the hotel to okay it.
Right.
We have to sell out all the hotel rooms. So it's very important that you say
book that room.
You're there for Spooky Empire. If you don't say you're there for Spooky Empire, they don't know that you're there for them, and we can't do things like that.
Yeah. And you don't get woken up to
those things were great. Spooky TV was like a highlight of our show for many years.
Oh yeah. And it's always fun because you always notice different things throughout the clips that you maybe didn't notice before, or you see yourself from like 10 years ago and you're like, wow.
Absolutely. And if we ever do it, that's probably because all our footage is from, 10 years ago, so like a lot of us are all going to be skinny and good looking. This quarantine got us all old and stuff. So
listen, it happens. We all age. Some of us, gracefully as yourself, and some of us not so gracefully, but it happens. It's okay.
So yes, we will definitely try our best to get Spooky TV back on. Hopefully in October.
That would be awesome.
Because the good thing about the Hyatt Regency is they have televisions in the bathroom. So when you're, going to the bathroom, you can look over and there's Petey on the screen. So you can,
Because that's what I want to see in the bathroom. I want to look over as I'm getting out of the shower and go, oh, there's Petey.
Yeah.
Now, you and Gina your whole team really has built this home for all types of vendors and creative people where they can gather and they can exchange their ideas and their creativity. When you guys started this many a moon ago, did you ever think it would evolve to what it's become today?
I mean, we always wanted it. I mean, when we started the show, it was like me and two other partners. When we actually started the show, we were kind of like, we didn't even know if we were going to do part 2. You know what I'm saying? We didn't know there was going to be a second one,
Oh, wow.
So we didn't know where it was going or how it was going to happen and stuff like that. But once we started getting the feel to it and the partners left and it was just me and Gina putting it all together, and we were going to Dragon Con and we were like seeing how Dragon Con's vibe was and everything like that. And our show was very similar to Dragon Con and stuff like that. So I was like, I did see it coming together and stuff. Unfortunately, we don't have the same love in Orlando as they do here in Atlanta. The city backs that convention so much that they have like parades and all that kind of stuff. Orlando's not, as open as those,
Yeah, which I mean is let's face it, Orlando is a giant tourist destination and trap, if you will, to an extent. So I never understood why they wouldn't want to bring more money that's already coming in, to the town. I never understood it, and I guess I never will.
No, me either. We have meetings with hotels all the time, and I just shake my head, going, I don't get it. I don't understand why they don't want to make money. You know?
I don't understand it either, which is weird because it's like somebody handed you a $20 bill and you're like, nah, I'm good. Like, take the 20, man. Take it and walk away.
Exactly. I think the Hyatt Regency has the best feel to it, and we can grow even bigger. I mean, that hotel is so massive that you could just grow into that hotel, and we never have to really leave that hotel. As long as they have the weekend for us, we're good there, and like we can just keep growing and growing. There's so much you could do there,
I'm a big fan of that hotel personally, and that's actually was the next thing I wanted to talk to you about. Number one, was for the Hyatt Regency. It's huge, B, it's huge, and C, it's huge, and they've got so much stuff there that you can do and places to eat and things like that. Do you see us being there for a while?
We're scheduled to be there for 6 years.
Oh, awesome.
And in the 6 years, one of the years we're at the convention center. But
okay.
Our after events will be at the Hyatt Regency though.
Okay.
Still. So like our after, events, all that kind of stuff that we're, doing, it'll be at the Hyatt Regency. But one year we're at the convention center because they
Okay.
didn't have the space during the day or something. We couldn't do a load in or something like that. It was just like something messed up.
Oh, okay.
So that was that. But yeah, we're supposed to be there for at least 6 years, and hopefully we're there for longer than that. So
Yeah. Now
um,
I've got a couple of questions coming
it's
in.
our favorite place to it's our favorite place to do a convention just because the staff there is just so professional
Mm-hmm.
and they're just so great, and it's just a good clean feeling, and it makes us feel like we belong there. It's just a big, nice, great place.
And they did some remodeling, it looks, because we were just there. If you guys haven't seen the video, it's on my YouTube channel. Check it out. I'll link it below. But we were just there, and it looks like they redid quite a bit in that place. They've got all new carpeting. They've added a lot more seating and a lot more like outlets and stuff for people to, charge their phones and whatnot. So, I mean, I don't think people realize like how huge the Hyatt is.
Yeah.
So just to kind of pop this up here real quick, let's go to you can get your reservations and your tickets both through spookyempire.com.
And when you make your reservations, make sure you say you're there for Spooky Empire. It's very important. You get $10 park in. You get your the resort fees waived and stuff like that. So it's very important. And also you get a discount on the rooms.
Yes, because the rooms are really they're like 200 and something bucks a night.
Usually.
Yeah, so they're what, 154, I believe, if you're booking them.
Yeah.
And
With Spooky Empire, yeah.
And then just to show you guys here again, I've got that little reminder where the Hyatt Regency is. You can reserve your room through the website or through calling them. And then I've got like a little shot here of the will call / check-in area.
Yeah.
Which is huge. And then you guys also have, and this is this is probably my favorite part. So there's so much space.
Yeah.
In this hotel, it's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, the hallways are bigger than some ballrooms that we have at like the Wyndham or any of the other hotels we have.
Oh, absolutely. Like even the one room, because I believe you guys, correct me if I'm wrong, the tattoo room, the vendors and the celebs you all have in one giant room, correct?
Yeah. Yeah, it's massive.
So that's a huge space to be able to fit.
Yeah. And we're almost sold out of our vendor space already.
Are you really?
Yes. I can't believe how much, like, it's 3 times the size of the Wyndham and we're almost sold out.
Wow. So if you're thinking about vending, you better get on that before, because that's going to go pretty fast. So here's just a little reminder. Vendor space is open. You can get that at spookyempire.com. A good show. I'm excited. So all right, so we got parking's $10 if you get your room through Spooky Empire's code. Now I know that parking garage fills up super fast, not even with of course people staying there, but with people coming in after the fact. Is there any other additional parking that you guys are going to have available?
Yeah, I mean we're on International Drive and we're right across from the convention center, so you have parking at the convention center, you have parking at the I forgot what that's called, where all the restaurants are and everything, right next to the Hyatt Regency.
Yeah.
They have parking there, but we're on International Drive. There's tons of parking, and there's free parking all the way at the Eye. Now it's a long walk.
It is a long walk.
But it's free parking at the Eye.
Plus, don't they have the trolley that goes up and down too? So you could always park at the Eye, hop the trolley, and then go up and not worry about parking.
Absolutely.
Now, do you think that, I know some people have asked this already, and I'm not asking you to tell the future, but I'm kind of asking you to tell the future. Do you think that masks are still going to be a thing come October, or do you think at that point we'll all be able to get back and not have to worry about it?
I'm going to say we're not going to be wearing masks in October.
Nice.
Now,
obviously, if at that point, if the hotel is requiring it, I'm assuming that you guys are going to have to just based on whatever that hotel's doing at that point.
Yeah, absolutely. But, I mean, everything's opening up. I mean, we just started opening up to, like, not wearing masks if you're vaccinated. So, hopefully everybody's getting vaccinated. That's, like, the main thing.
Yes. Yes, I agree. I've got my shots. I've got them both. You know, I know you've got
So I mean
yours.
that's the whole thing. Like I know like Publix and stuff like that, you don't have to wear a mask if you're vaccinated.
Yep.
So and I think that's what's gonna be the case. I know Disney and Universal are starting to open up that you don't have to wear masks
Yes.
there now. If you're vaccinated, you
Yes.
know, so
Yeah.
that's where it's all about being vaccinated. So
And be honest about it. You know, if you're not, then just and it's fine for now. Now, I know a lot of folks that come to Spooky are big fans and are huge on the pool parties. And I know they started just by people kind of getting together and hanging out at the pool after the show was over, and it evolved into this massive thing that a lot of folks look forward to.
yeah,
So at the Hyatt, the pool is not really going to be the pool's there, but that's not where the
yeah,
party is.
yeah. So no, our nighttime events will all be like in the convention area. And just like the last time we were there, I don't know if you remember, we had like the guy from the Lost Boys playing.
Yes.
It was like I remember walking in there. There was like 5,000 people packed. I thought the Beatles were playing, and he was there doing his horn, and it was like great, man. But yeah, we're gonna have like events going on right there. Some of the ballrooms will probably have the Rocky Horror Picture Show in one of the
Nice.
ballrooms, and some of that kind of stuff that goes on. But like most of the stuff will be out in the hallway on
Nice.
that main stage. You know,
And then
we'll have live bands, DJs, dance parties. You know, drinking. There'll be bars everywhere.
nice. Are you guys now? I heard you guys are bringing back their burlesque shows coming back.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, last year when we were in Tampa, we didn't have the hall for Friday night, and that's when
Ah,
Vita, which is the best. You know, there's nobody better than Vita. You know,
she's amazing. I'm a big fan
yeah.
of her.
So she's like, the best. There's no one better. And that's why she does Spooky Emperor, because she's the best. We only have the best. You know.
Oh,
So
absolutely. And if you guys haven't seen the burlesque show, I've seen like little bits and pieces. Like put that on your schedule and make the time and go check it out because everyone that is a part of that troupe is outstanding. Like
yeah,
they do a phenomenal job, and even from like the little bit that I've gotten, that's good. Like my one of my main things this time is to actually stop and watch the burlesque show in full. That's my goal.
they usually open up the show.
Yep,
It's like usually on Friday, and they're like one of the first acts to go on. So.
that's awesome. I love
So
it. Now you guys also have your infamous, and I say infamous, your infamous VIP parties as well that
yeah.
happens on Saturday night. So if you have a VIP ticket, you get to go to the special party. So for people that are interested in it, what does that all normally entail?
Well, I mean, every show's different. I heard. I mean, I heard.
I heard.
Um,
What did you hear, Petey? Tell us.
there's rumor that we might have a good sponsor for that VIP party this year, which it'll be pretty amazing. It's always great. The celebrities stop by and you get to see them, take pictures with them and stuff like. No autographs, but you
Right.
get to take pictures with them, and then we have the raffle, which goes on, which we have all these really great things that we raffle off.
Yeah.
Probably better than how much it costs, to actually go to the VIP party. Um, a lot of times we have the cake, you know.
Yes.
The cake is like always amazing, you know.
Yes.
Um, and then there's music and stuff like that, and we get to mingle and hang out, and it's VIP.
Which is definitely worth it because you also get front of the line. You get like a separate VIP front of the line access for your
Yeah,
autographs. You get early entry into the vendor room. You get like
you get a
all kinds
badge,
of
you
good
get a
stuff.
special shirt.
Yes.
We give a bunch of good stuff in the goodie bags. You get an exclusive poster, which I think this year we have it's 4 posters that come together into
Oh.
one, and this is the last one of the 4 of the
Oh.
set.
Okay.
So
Very cool.
yeah,
Now you mentioned Rocky Horror and the burlesque show. I know you guys you're bringing back the Hearst car shows coming back.
yeah, I'm excited about that.
You've got the amazing and what people seem to kind of overlook is the film festival.
Yeah. I mean, our film festival has been so amazing for the past couple of years. It's you get to see the people before they make it, and like we've had some great movies that been shown.
Oh,
And if you have a movie enter it, man, because you get some cool trophies and stuff like that.
Are you
And
guys
people watch 'em.
open for submissions now?
Yeah, you go to our website, you can find all the information
Okay.
about that. Yeah.
And then you guys, we're doing the special effect makeup classes and demos and panels. Those are making a comeback this year. I know we're putting that together right now.
Yeah. I mean, you guys did that the last show too, though, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, we've had the film festival last show. I mean, everything was kind of there when we were in Tampa. But,
I think that people tend to get overwhelmed because there's so, and this is not a bad thing at all. There's so many fun things to do. I don't think people realize that you actually have to plan. Like, you have to schedule yourself to be able to do things because, like, you also have the author's track and you have the kids zone that happens. So you have to kind of make yourself a little schedule and pick and choose, certain things to do.
No, absolutely, man. There's always something to do. Always something to do when you're at Spooky Empire, especially in October.
Yes. Yeah, I love it. It's definitely a wide variety of things.
Your best bet is to get there on Thursday, get there, get your room, get situated, maybe scope out everything and leave on Sunday, actually Monday morning. Usually stay Sunday, relax, hang out. We're all still there.
Yep.
You hang out, have drinks with us, and we all talk about I always think Sunday is like one of the best days of the show because we all just wind up just talking about the whole weekend.
Well, and it's relaxation time. It's done. The show's over. We're not working anymore. We're not running a million miles. We can actually stop and just take that nice breather and just relax.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Now, are you guys, I know for the past couple of shows, you guys have done some specially themed tiki mugs. Are you guys going to be doing those for this show coming up as well?
I hope so. I know I'm working on some exclusives. Like October, we always throw out as many exclusives as possible. But we had some at the last show that was pretty good. Some great, we had the tiki mug with the devil tiki mug.
Yes.
We had that toy. It was like a purple toy that we had for
this guy.
Yes, that guy right there. Yeah, that was an exclusive we had last show, and then what was the other? Well, we're always planning. Oh, and then also the t-shirts.
Yes.
T-shirts are definitely exclusive, especially the ones with the colored sleeves.
Yes, the Raglans.
The Raglans, yeah, with the colored sleeves, and they're always limited edition and stuff like that. They sell out immediately.
Yes, they do.
But we'll be bringing in a bunch of exclusives that I'm still working on.
Very cool. Now, I was going to ask you, that's my next question for you, actually, is how do you guys determine the theme for each show? Do you base it on the guests, or are you just like, this is kind of the direction that I want to go with?
That's a interesting question, because like sometimes it does depend on the guest, and we don't always pick the guest. I hate to say that. Because back in the day, we always did pick the guests, but now it's more the agents are the ones that kind of like do that, which, sometimes they get lazy and they start giving us the same guest over and over again, and you want like fresh new things and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But, a lot has to do with the guests, but I mean, if we're on Halloween, of course we have a Halloween themed thing, and, there's, just, it depends. It depends on how it goes or my mood. Yeah, I feel like let's do this time.
This is where we're going, it or not.
This is where I'm going this time. And then sometimes I think of things and it doesn't work. I'll be like, okay. We're gonna do a Prince night.
Hey, I loved the Prince night. I'm a big Prince fan, so I was loving the Prince night personally.
Well, it didn't go over too well. Where were you that night when the Purple Wizard was DJing?
Yes.
It was like
I was there.
There was a belly dancer that saved that whole night, So she was awesome. And like Purple Wizard didn't do his he was playing Prince music, and maybe by the second song people are like, "Oh, I'm over this. This is lame." But some things work, some things don't, Yeah,
and I think it also depends on the mood of the crowd that evening, or dare I say, maybe the level of drink that they've had that evening.
That's absolutely. I mean, on social media, it looked like it was going to be the best thing ever. Like we were getting, oh my God, they're doing a Prince themed thing, and then at the show, it was like wah wah.
That's all right,
Yeah.
though. You gotta try new things, because
Yeah,
you never know
yeah.
what's gonna actually stick.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now I've got a few questions coming in from the chat, if you
Okay.
don't mind. I've got some people asking. Let's see. Are you guys gonna do any more Funko Pop exclusives in the future?
In the future, definitely. This year, we don't know because of COVID.
Yeah.
It's you usually have to take a year to get all that done and stuff like that. But are we gonna pull it off again this year? We don't know, and you won't know until I announce it.
Ah.
And that's the thing about the Funko Pop. We can't really actually tell you until we actually announce it.
Right.
And
so maybe down
But
the road at
but-
some
but-
point.
But the question was, in the future, definitely. We will be doing one in the future. Will it happen this year? We don't know.
That's, you know what? I will take that answer. That is more than acceptable for sure. I've got a couple people asking you to bring Kurt Russell to Spooky.
Yeah, I would love him too.
Oh,
Why don't you, if you can kidnap him and bring him, that would be awesome.
I mean, listen, I'm not saying it should happen, but if he should find himself there, that would be great.
Never say no. Never say no, because you never know who's going to will be able to get. That could happen. Like, it could happen 2 weeks before the show. Hey, Kurt Russell wants to do your show. Okay, let's pull it all together.
Yeah.
Sometimes it happens that way. Sometimes it takes years to get people. I mean, look what we had to do with Bruce Campbell. We had to start a new show just for Bruce Campbell.
I was gonna say, like, what's one of the hardest guests that you've had to not? I don't want to say fight to get, but that you've had a tough time getting that was able to actually do the show.
I mean, I know probably a lot of them, but I mean, there was always like somebody that we always tried to get, or
Yeah.
I mean, we're still trying to get people that we never get. Alice Cooper was really hard to get for some reason. Now he does all the shows.
I know.
But it was really hard to get him in the beginning.
Maybe it was get that feet wet.
Yeah. Richard Dreyfuss, our first time we had Richard Dreyfuss, he was very hard to get.
Yeah.
It took us years to get him.
And then you got him, and he had a line out the door.
Yeah, that was a big show. That was like a 4-hour wait. That was the time you needed a VIP pass.
Oh, for sure.
Or a fast pass.
Absolutely. And now, was he and I know, unfortunately, he wasn't able to do this show that just happened. Are you guys looking at possibly bringing him back down the road?
I mean, of course. I mean, everybody's always like, he's such a great guest. There's certain guests that you never say no to, and he's definitely one of them,
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I mean, and sometimes the schedules just don't line up, and that's kind of the way it is.
Of course.
You can't force something.
That's the hard thing about the schedule. The schedule is the hardest part. They're like, well, why does that show have them and you don't? Well, because the schedule didn't work out, Because
maybe he's working on set those days, and you can't get him on those days.
Or that, or something else is going on. Or I was bringing in someone for this show, and I was really hoping she was coming, but she has a wedding that weekend, so she can't come. So I was like, oh man, I really need you here.
Like, you would have more fun here than at some schmancy pants wedding. And I think that's something that a lot of people forget too, is that celebrities are great to have and all, but they're actually people, and most of them are still working.
Just like you guys. Sometimes you guys, man, why did you have it this weekend? I can't make it. Like I hear that all the time. Oh, I'm getting married that weekend. Oh, that's my this or that, or I have to take my kids trick-or-treating. And I'm like, well, why don't you bring them to the show? Isn't this cooler?
You can trick-or-treat at the that's the one thing that you guys have done that was awesome, was you had all the vendors set up for trick-or-treating, That
was awesome last year. Kids would have had if they came to the show, they would have had an awesome time.
Oh, we were giving out candy left and right.
The Kid Zone's awesome. Yeah.
Yes.
Especially last one in Tampa, that Kid Zone was amazing.
It was huge.
Yeah.
You guys had like blow-ups and all kinds of fun things, and you guys are bringing that back for this show too, right?
Yeah, we try to always bring it back because we are a family-friendly show.
Yeah, I mean, your daughter comes.
Yes, she's been going since before she was born.
And she's growing. Is she gonna end up taking over the empire one of these days?
We'll see. We'll see. God bless you guys if that happens.
Listen, we'll still help her out. We're happy to. She's a sweetheart. Now, speaking of guests, do you have anybody confirmed for this show?
We have a lot of people confirmed, but I am not announcing anybody for a little bit, just because I just want to get the other things involved. I want to. There's so much great things that get lost at Spooky Empire that we never get to pitch and stuff like that. And I want to get those out there before everybody's all like goo goo gaga about the guests. But we have some amazing guests lined up. We're working on some really amazing guests. Awesome. And we have, we have some old favorites coming back. We have, we got some monsters. We have some we have one of the best special effects makeup guy coming back. There's just great, people that will be at our show this year. We are, Spooky Empire October is the Comic-Con. We're like the San Diego Comic-Con of horror conventions, So everybody wants to be at, the October Spooky Empire.
Oh yeah, it's a great show. And if it's your first spooky, like buckle up, Buttercup. Because there's a lot. Do you have any advice for anybody that would be coming to the show as a first timer?
Yeah, especially for this show, you should be in shape. Like work out a little bit. There's a lot of walking.
It is a lot of walking.
There's a lot going on. It's a big show. So water, drink water, and beer,
and beer. Balance it out, or even
tequila.
It out.
Yeah, tequila, beer, water.
Vodka in a water bottle. It's whatever.
You should actually sleep a lot before, because you're not going to sleep at all at Spooky Empire, because you don't want to miss anything.
No. And there's so much.
Yeah, like you're like, oh, I'm going to go take a nap. You don't want to take a nap because you're going to miss something,
Or then by the end you're like, oh, it's, the vendor room's closed, celeb room's closed. All right, now there's the after party, so it's not over yet. It just keeps on going.
It's not over. It just goes and goes. And the good thing about the Hyatt, you can just keep going and going, because we're in a separate area. They're not going to kick you out.
Well, that's what I was going to say. It's in a nice segregated area, so it's away from the guest room, so you don't have to worry about guests calling down to reception complaining that the music is still going at 3 a.m.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what I suggest. And if you want something, make sure you get it. Like if you want a Spooky Empire t-shirt, you better get it on Friday, because it might not be there on Sunday.
Absolutely. That's kind of the one thing that I tell myself, and then I tell people, I'm like, listen, if you're there on Friday, shop on Friday, get what you want to get, because by the time even if you do a lap, by the time you come back, it's probably going to be gone.
Yeah.
And then you're going to be mad that it's gone, and that's your own fault for not picking it up.
Also schedule your weekend. Try to schedule your weekend, so you don't miss out on like great Q&As. We have some really great Q&As, and even like the special effects makeup classes. Get in one of those classes, man. Learn how to do something. The author panels, man. Especially if you want to be a writer or something like that.
Yes.
Go in there and like learn like all about that. It's like. There's so much learning to do. Even like the film festival, you get to meet some of these filmmakers. And if you want to be an actor, that's a great place to go and meet some of these people.
Absolutely, and network too.
You remember Jennifer Aniston? She did Leprechaun. She was in the first Leprechaun movie, man. She might have met that guy like at a horror convention, man, and say, "Hey, I'm an actress," and she ended up on the Leprechaun. Next minute, she's the biggest, movie star in the world. Well,
that's the thing. You never know who you're gonna meet, whether it's somebody running a panel or you guys even have there's been quite a few celebrity type folk that come to the show. Like Joey Fatone just comes and hangs out.
Yeah,
for a
lot of people, man. A lot of people stop by. I was, because these are people that we hung out with and talked to at the show. Like Goose Gossage from the Yankees. Yeah, he was there one time, and I think we had a couple of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers show up last year.
Nice.
That guy from there was a guy last year that came to our show. He was in Galaxies of the, that Galaxy movie. The blue guy.
Oh, really?
The muscles. What's his name?
Oh my God! Why is my brain stopped working? You're talking about Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy. The big blue guy.
Somebody give me, yes, Dave Bautista. Thank you,
Yeah.
Ahsoka.
Yeah, he was there. He was there last year.
Nice.
You know?
So you never know. You might run into somebody that's just there just to hang out and have a good time.
Yeah. A lot of rock bands. Show up. Boy band guys are always there. There.
Now, along with being a successful convention promoter, you are actually a published author as well. And I don't know if everybody knows about this, but you wrote a children's book.
I wrote a children's book. It's called Adriana's First Concert. It was about taking my daughter to see Kiss, at her first concert. And I wrote a children's book. It did pretty well. I mean, you can buy it on Amazon. And
nice.
If you go on, you could probably find it on YouTube. Paul Stanley, the lead singer of Kiss, reading it on the Kiss Cruise like last year from the Kiss Cruise.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome. That was probably a highlight of my life, seeing the lead singer from Kiss say my name, say my daughter's name, and read my book that I wrote. Pretty awesome.
I was going to say, you're a huge Kiss fan, so for that to happen, I'm sure at that point you were just like, holy crap, is this really happening right now?
Oh, yeah, man. It was like, because I wasn't there when it happened, and so... because we had Spooky Empire the same weekend as the Kiss Cruise.
Oh.
So I wasn't there. So I got home, and I just went on Facebook, and I saw a picture of Paul Stanley and my book behind him. And I went, what is this? And then I'm scrolling some more, and I see someone had a video, and he's like, hey, Pete Mongelli, blah, 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 wrote this book. And I went, what the? It was pretty awesome. I had no idea he was going to do it.
Yeah, that's pretty unreal.
That was really cool. Yeah.
Now, are you thinking about writing another book, or are your writing days kind of done for now?
No. I want to write another children's book, and then I've been working on a movie that I want to make.
Okay.
And I'm looking for help doing it because I don't have the experience to write a full novel like that. I think I'm gonna do a novel and then put it out into a script for a movie.
Okay.
But it's a horror movie. It's based on me growing up in a small town in upstate New York. So
where most horror movies should take place if they don't already.
Absolutely.
Because they all have that feel, Upstate New York has the horror feel of, all right, there's somebody that's going to come out of the woodwork and take me out here or there.
Yeah. So I mean that's my plans. But I would like to do another children's book. They're more difficult than you think. I think writing it's not the hard part. It's getting everything else, the packaging and getting it printed, and the right artist, which I definitely have the right artist, in mind if I do a children's book,
Yeah.
But yeah, it's and the packaging, printing it up is really hard. Getting it done right and stuff like that. And
yeah.
Hopefully people buy it.
I'm sure they will.
Yeah.
Now, somebody was asking in the chat, and I can't remember, it was very far back. Have you thought about, how do you find your artists that do the cover art for the programs? Speaking of artists, do they usually come to you? Do you go to them? How does that work? Because I know there's people that are interested.
I usually go to them. Usually I have something in mind in my head, and I go, this is the artist I want this time. But if you come to me and I always keep you in mind, there's always there are people that have came to me that I never say no, I never go, oh no, but there's always it depends on my mood of who I want. And the guy who I picked for the next cover, I just love his artwork. And I was just like, oh my God, I think it would be perfect for this show, So we've only had one artist that we turned down, and this was way in the beginning. It was just a really bad cover, and I was and I freaked out, and we ended up using another guy's artwork for the cover, but it wasn't exclusive for the cover.
Gotcha.
Which kind of because the one that was exclusive we hated.
Oh no.
It was really bad, and we were just like, oh my God, what do we do? This is not gonna work,
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's unfortunate. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it only happened once though, which he did another cover for us. He just didn't do that one time. I gave him a second chance, and his other cover is pretty great. It's a great cover.
I'm pretty sure I have that program too. I'm pretty sure I know which program you're talking about, and I think I've got that one too.
Yeah, it's one of the ones that don't have me on the cover.
That's a little Easter egg for you guys.
There you go. I think I'm on the cover of every program except the one. And
Yes.
that's the one we turned down because we didn't like. I think they put a picture of me and Gina on it, and the picture of Gina was really bad.
No.
So
How do you make Gina look bad? She's beautiful. How do you make Gina look bad?
It was like superhero looking. How do I explain this?
Okay.
They made her look like,
Like a little too well endowed in
yeah,
the chesticle
and
area.
and we were like, whoa.
Oh my goodness. Okay. I that makes sense then. I can understand because I probably would not be a fan of that either. So I can understand that. So do you guys already have your artist in mind for the October show? You said,
we do.
Right?
I picked him out at the last convention. He was one of our vendors, and I was like, hey, this is the artwork I want.
Do it. Make it happen.
Yeah.
Now,
I've been a fan of his work for a while, and he just started doing our convention. He was doing other shows and stuff like that, and I used to beg him, why don't you do our show?
Yeah.
Your stuff works better at our show than these shows. And he finally started doing our show, and he kicks butt, and he's awesome. And hopefully he does a good job. I'm bragging about him already, and I hope he does a good job.
I will have some blind faith and believe that he will do a wonderful job for you.
All right.
Guys.
So I'm going to ask in the chat, what was your favorite cover?
Oh.
What was your favorite cover?
Man, that's rough.
There's so many great covers.
There's so many. That's not a fair question, I don't think, for me, because there's so many good ones. I love the first Mayhem cover.
First Mayhem cover. I'm trying to think of that one.
It was like a big Petey. It had Bruce Campbell on it. I should have brought it in here because I would show it off. And I think the husband's running to get the program because he knows the one I'm talking about. So that was definitely one of mine. The one that you had for the I hate to bring this up, but the hurricane show. The show that got canceled for the hurricane was awesome.
Yeah. That's a rare one because most of those didn't get to. We threw a lot of those out.
Yeah, I think I've got one.
Yeah, we gave them. Whoever came to the hotel that night got them.
I know we did. We did. We were sitting at home. We were like, do we go or do we stay home? And we both looked at each other and we're like, we're gonna go.
Yeah, we had a blast that weekend.
There was a wedding that weekend.
Yeah, we had the wedding. Everybody's hanging out, partying all weekend. They gave us a ballroom. We just partied in the ballroom.
That was my favorite hurricane party that I've ever been to.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome, man. It sucked for me, but it was pretty awesome for everybody there.
It sucked as far as from the business standpoint, but it was also nice to just kind of see
there was
everybody.
A lot of celebrities that showed up in the ballroom that night, remember?
Oh, yeah.
We still had a bunch of celebrities that showed up,
Yeah.
I
think I know Kane Hodder showed up.
Yeah, and all the Cenobites were all there.
Yes. Oh, wow.
Oh, that one.
School.
Yes.
So I've got a few. So I've got this one.
Yes, that was a great one.
Which is phenomenal. Then we've also got, we've got this one, which was really cool.
Yeah, that was cool.
If you're a Hitchhiking Ghost fan.
Yeah.
Is it this? Oh, and then this guy.
Yeah, that's the hurricane one.
Yep. So we've got, I think I've got two of him. Because I like to, no offense to, I like my own. JD likes his and I like my own. And this was one of my other favorites too.
Oh, the trick-or-treating one.
Yes, you've got the pumpkin in hand. So you guys have some really rad artwork, for these. So I'm definitely very excited to see what's going to come for this show for sure.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you coming on and chatting with us this evening and giving us a little bit more information about the upcoming October show. I know currently, if everybody's watching, tickets are still on sale. So go buy your tickets. VIP is still available currently.
Yeah.
But those are going to be going soon. Now, are you guys still, I know the, pandemic cancellation happened. Are you guys still honoring those tickets that you sold for that at the October show?
I think we still have a bunch of tickets that we still are honoring from the cancellation show. A lot of them used them though for the last show.
Well, Corey Taylor, of course they did.
Yeah, so they were all in. VIP is definitely worth for this next show because our VIP party is going to be off the chain. Like I said, it's going to be a pretty amazing VIP party, and also some of the celebrities we have coming this year, you're going to not want to be waiting in line for 3 hours.
So are you trying to tell me that I need to also buy a VIP ticket? Is that what I'm hearing?
I'm just saying.
Is that
VIP is the way to go. I mean, also you get the cool package and you get the bag and it's cool.
T-shirt.
The T-shirt and all the other goodies that are inside.
Oh yeah, you guys always give away some. I know one year you did like shot glasses and other little cups, like Spooky Empire stuff. So it's definitely worth it for sure. Just to kind of remind you guys, you can get those at spookyempire.com. Toss the link up for everybody. If you're looking for vendor space, it's still available. Tattoo booth space is still available, as is film festival submissions are open. So get in and get those in before it's too late. It's awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Petey. I appreciate your time.
Problem.
You're the best.
I hope everybody, got all the questions out that they needed to ask or whatever.
Yeah, I got quite a few people screaming for Kurt Russell, so I'm just saying. He's one of my dream guests too. I mean, you've already had David Lopan, which was phenomenal.
We have tried for him. If we get him, we get him. Yeah. It's just, it's something that, as of right now, no one's pulled it off, We'll see.
So if anybody watching knows Kurt Russell, just saying. Put in that word, man. Put it in. All right.
I don't think some of these guys don't realize how fun it is.
Yeah.
Like some guys are, they're like, oh, I don't want to be that. That's like, for washed up people, and it's not anymore.
No, you get a lot of
They watch that movie, The Wrestler. They watch that movie, The Wrestler, and they're like automatically think it's him. And I'm like, no, it's not. Like, major celebrities are doing it now.
Absolutely. And I mean, it's a good thing and a bad thing because you've got a lot of your bigger names are charging a little bit more for their autographs, but then you get the ones that are totally affordable and they still do well because they're within that range for folks.
We booked a guest for this October show. I'm not going to tell you who he is, but he's a pretty big name, and you'd be like, oh my God, I can't believe he's doing Spooky Empire. Okay. He's like, he's fresh, he's new, he's not at every convention.
That's
the girls are gonna love him.
The girls are gonna love him.
He's a pretty good looking guy.
Okay. I'll take it then. Now, and just to kind of clarify something, because I see this online all the time before we wrap this up here. For autograph pricing for the celebrities.
Yeah.
Just to clarify this one, do you guys get a heads up beforehand? I know if you're selling like pre-selling tickets, you obviously know what they're charging, but do you get like a price list every time beforehand? Because I know a lot of folks are constantly asking. And
very rare, and I hate to publish what they're charging because they change their price.
Okay.
And you could be paying something different on Friday than on Sunday. So it depends on who it is. Some people have basic signature autographs and stuff like that, and that's how much they charge all the time, but some change it. So we got in trouble a couple of times, saying, hey, you told me it was going to be this much and they're charging this much. And I'm like, I'm sorry, they changed their price. The fans don't want to hear that.
And that's got nothing to do with you either.
They have nothing to do with me. It's all on it. They're independent contractors. That's the best way to say it. They are independent contractors. They are not employed by Spooky Empire. Now, if they are employed by Spooky Empire, then we kind of know the prices.
Right. But if not, then hey, it is what it is. You find out when you get to the show.
Yeah.
And then kind of go from there.
But you could basically kind of figure out, I mean, like you guys aren't dumb. You guys know what they kind of charge. If they're charging this at this show, they're pretty much going to charge that at our show. Maybe $10 difference.
Like, I gotta be honest with you, I was very surprised at the pricing for Corey Taylor.
It was his first show.
I thought he was gonna be charging.
There you go, found him.
More. Jesus, these are all. The husband just brought me every program that we have.
So yeah, I mean, it was Corey's first show. He might be charging more at the next couple of shows.
Yeah.
He'd be like, oh, I could get another $20 more. Yeah, and it's usually not him. It's usually his agent.
Right. It's usually their agent that says, hey, you're going to charge this amount of dollars for this or this. And then some of them, have things that they just won't sign.
Yeah. Which you don't even know that until the show. Like, sometimes we get a heads up. Like, we had a guest at our last show, which was a complete asshole. And he wouldn't sign a certain item. But when he booked himself with me, he booked himself because of that TV show.
That makes no sense.
Yeah, he was a complete and I was like, I would have never booked him if this was the case.
Wow, wow, dude, that makes no sense to me. Why would you? Yeah, that's dirty.
Yeah, he was. I mean, he did so many things. Like everybody was really amazing at the last show, except this one person. He was just so disrespectful and stuff. He didn't really care. He just wanted your money, And I hate guests like that. I hate him. We try to avoid that, But I didn't know he was like that until he got to the show.
Well, that's just it. Sometimes you don't know that they're really like that, and I mean,
or after we booked them already. Like after we booked them, everything was good until like 5 days before the show, and then he wants to change everything.
Oh, that's so dirty.
Yeah.
That's so dirty. I'm sorry that happens to you guys. But again, also to your point is like you guys don't know what they will or won't do, and sometimes you find out last minute, and it's not you. It's just them.
Like that guy will never come back to Spooky Amber again. And people don't realize, like people are, Pete's, dude, I look out for the fans, man. I love the fans. I love Spooky Amber fans. I love all you guys, man. I love everything about you guys, and I protect you guys. I don't think people realize that I do that, that I protect them from, people like that,
I don't.
We try to book the best people for our event for the fans that come to the event. It's not always about this or that. It's I care about all the fans that attend our show.
Right. It's not just because it's not just because you want to get the name just to get the name. You want to get that person because the fans are going to appreciate that, and you want that good rapport with those guests. And I mean, I'll be honest with you, I don't think I've had a bad experience with a guest at your show.
And dude, like I could be like hanging out with these guests, going to dinner with them, but I go and hang out with the fans. I don't know if you realize that. I'm out there shaking hands and hanging out with everybody at the show, drinking. I'm the first person to have a beer with somebody and stuff like that.
Absolutely. And I think that's something huge that sets you apart from a lot of shows as being the promoter, and this is your baby. You don't get done with the show and go run and hide somewhere. Like, you're out with everybody, you're having some drinks, you're having a good time, you're just relaxing. You're a person, you're not just the myth behind the show, if that makes sense.
Yeah. No, a lot, and that was the thing when I was starting Spooky Empire, I didn't want to be like that, that guy that was like, dude, I love Spooky Empire, man. I love going to Spooky. If I didn't run the show, I'd be going. I'd be like, dude, this is awesome, man. I'm hanging out with everybody,
absolutely.
Well,
I'm speaking for my husband now, and he can take this whether he likes it or not, but we're the same way. If we didn't work with the show, we come to the show because that's how we started. I started coming when you guys were in Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah.
Way back many a moon ago. And I mean, it was fantastic, and that was one of my favorite shows because it introduced me to how much fun it was. One of my first conventions. It introduced me to how much fun these conventions were and how great it was to interact with like-minded people, fans, and then with the celebrity guests as well.
I wish we could still do a show in Fort Lauderdale, man. It's just it's so hard to find a place to do it. That's the hardest part about doing Spooky Empire is we're too big for most hotels, but too small for the convention center.
Yeah. You're
You know what
in
I'm
that
saying?
middle,
We're in the
that
middle.
tough middle ground.
So it's always like a weird, thing. But I would love to do a show in Fort Lauderdale again. You know?
Maybe someday. Don't say never, because maybe
No, never.
someday.
No, I'll never say never. Because I mean, me and Gina were talking about it today, like trying to figure out, hey, can we do something in, Fort
Yeah.
Lauderdale? So I mean, we're always looking if something could pop up or the right time of the year or something like that. We would love to come back and do something in Fort Lauderdale because that's where we're from. That's where I live.
Yeah.
So
It's home. I mean,
it's home.
it's where I'm from. I lived in
Yeah.
Fort Lauderdale forever, so
Yeah.
it'd be nice to go home.
Yeah. So,
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining me this evening and for letting me pick your brain a little bit here and for giving our viewers some more information about the event and about yourself as well.
no problem, man.
So don't forget, everybody,
Hope to
spookyempire.com.
see everybody. Yeah, hope to see everybody at the show.
Yes. And don't forget, if you see Petey running, it's because he's busy. Catch up with him after. Thanks again, guys, for watching. Thank you, Petey. And until next time, boys and girls, keep it spooky.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.